Thanks for getting on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. I'm back at home once again, so I can breathe a little bit easier. I'm not cooped up in a tin can, cooking, trying to sleep, and doing my daily work. It's nice to get a bit of fresh air, if you will, not just indoors but also outdoors as well. Temperatures actually much fresher feeling today across the northern half of the British Isles, thanks to winds coming in from the Atlantic. Some pretty strong gusty winds as well. I was actually driving to Ullapool earlier this morning, and that wind blowing along the shores of Loch Lascarnock was really whipping the trees. We're seeing the white caps on the lochs there, Loch Droma and Loch Lascarnock. So certainly windy conditions, that's for sure. But what a contrast in terms of the temperature profile across the UK. This morning we've seen single figures, not just across Scotland, but we've seen it across parts of Northern Ireland, even extend into England. And this is where the contrast is pretty significant. 7.5 Celsius this morning at Redesdale Camp in Northumberland, just over the English border. Down in central London, 21.5 was the overnight minimum at St James's Park. So a very notable difference this morning to start off. These are the current temperatures as of recording. It is now 10 to 5 in the evening on the 13th of July. 12 Celsius, 11.7 to be exact, is being reported currently at Loch Lascarnock, where we've got 27 and 28 Celsius down across the southeast of the British Isles. So a very distinct difference indeed. So before I get to the kind of the details in terms of the next few days, I want to look at the GFS, the ensemble here. So this is all 51 members, or whatever exactly the number is. But it's all the model runs combined here to give a kind of overall average run, so to speak. And you can see here the overall setup as of today. So high pressure has been somewhat suppressed to the south. The core of it over the north of France, as you can see here, area of low pressure, troughiness to the north. There's where your westerly winds are coming in from straight off the Atlantic across the north of the British Isles here. So the heat is confined to the closest portion of this area of high pressure. So it's close to the core of high pressure, and it's generally around London and the southeast of the UK. That's where the warmest temperatures are. But two very important factors to consider here. We've got an area of high pressure that's southwest of the UK and Ireland at the moment. That will bodily move over the UK through the upcoming weekend. This feature here, this area of low pressure off Iberia, is going to start to lift northwards. And as high pressure starts to build in to the UK, you can see that area of low pressure to the west of Iberia starting to kind of lift ever so slightly north. What happens here is that we've got this feature lifting north, we've got the deepening of this trough over Eastern Europe, and therefore we get almost like a kind of squeeze in the atmosphere where two troughs push together and forces this area of high pressure to start to expand. And when it expands, you're increasing column and increasing the depth of sinking through the atmosphere. So you're starting to compress the air and start to warm up. However, that's one aspect, and we're going to see the temperatures rising during the day on Saturday, rising up into the mid-20s, for example, in the central belt of Scotland. The next couple of days, 17, 18 degrees if you're lucky. But as we go through the weekend, we're going to see the temperatures rising widely across the UK as that area of high pressure builds in. We're going to continue to see that area of high pressure building within the atmosphere. And then as we go into the day on Monday, the area of high pressure actually within the upper levels of the atmosphere at 500 millibars is actually centered pretty much over the British Isles. But the core of the heat, however, is actually within the mid and low levels of the atmosphere is actually down across Iberia and France, and this is where this chart comes in here. So this is off the ECMWF. This is the overview chart, which is a combination of precipitation, cloud, temperature, and pressure. There's that area of high pressure to the west-southwest of the UK and Ireland, area of low pressure near Iberia. This is the current setup here. As you can see here, winds coming in off the Atlantic, plenty of showers within that flow. As we play through the next several days, there's that area of high pressure, kind of stutters this way. It's almost like a drunk walking home from the pub. You notice here it kind of just bobbles its way into the British Isles. All the while, you notice here that area of low pressure lifted north. This is key. Temperatures here. Now let's have a look actually at the current European temperatures, just to give you a better explanation as to why we're going to get to the temperatures that we're going to see at the weekend. Here's the current temperatures. 44 Celsius is being recorded at Don Benito, I think is how you pronounce it. Upper 30s in the north of France, knocking the door of 30 in the southeast of the British Isles. So if we go back to the current chart, so you've got plenty of heat here, and it's as that area of high pressure, folks, moves east of the UK and that area of low pressure moves north, you're opening that door to the hot air coming in from the south of the UK. And when you've got a mass of temperatures, from surface right the way up to the mid levels, up at like say 5,000 feet, when you're talking about temperatures of 20 to 23 or 24 Celsius, you drop that down to the surface, you're talking about surface temperatures widely into the 30s, possibly knocking the door of the mid 30s. Locally, you could be approaching that record, by the way, on I think Monday. The temperatures are actually starting to go back the way in terms of or delayed, so to speak, with regards to the peak of this heat wave here. So you can see here, generally speaking, as we go into the day on Sunday and Monday, there's the two features here. So we've got that area of low pressure then at the surface moving in to Iberia. You've got the area of high pressure moving into the central portion of Europe, and you've got that open door. Let's have a look at the 850 millibar temperatures here, and you can see what's taking place here. So there we go. Extreme heat. There's the area of low pressure. Look. High pressure centered to the east of the UK. We're picking up this air mass over Spain, over France, and we're going to draw it up into the UK. This is off the ECMWF chart, by the way, and there you go. Exactly what I'm saying. This is the time that temperatures are going to become very significant indeed. Into exactly how warm we're going to get, well, the records suggest, as you can see here, 38.7 Celsius. 38.7 Celsius was recorded back in July of 2019, 3 years ago. Then, of course, the previous record to that was 38.5 at Faversham in Kent. 37.1 at Cheltenham back in August of 1990. And this here is very interesting. The gap between the 1911 record and the 1990 record. And I'm sure a few folks on the global warming side of the argument would suggest that this is all to do with man-made climate change. That's another story for another day, I'm afraid. And it's something I'm not going to discuss here. But, well, not in this video anyway. But look at this here. So as we play through the loop, we're going to see that the area of high pressure continue to kind of move eastwards. And then eventually, I think, during the middle portion of next week, that area of low pressure that helps transport the hot air north may eventually be what breaks down the heat wave here. As you can see here, that area of high pressure becomes a little bit more stretched out. And then it looks as if we're going to start to see the collapse of high pressure and possibly even some low pressure developing here towards the very end of the month here. So you can see here off the GFS Ensemble that low pressure becomes better established. Over the next couple of videos, I'm going to hone in on exactly how hot I think it's going to be. I will predict my own forecast in terms of where the highest temperatures are going to be and how hot those temperatures are going to be for Sunday, Monday and Tuesday here. But keep it right here on my YouTube channel. Appreciate you watching as always, and I'll be back again tomorrow with more. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again. Bye for now.